Thursday, August 15th of the year 2019. Good morning, YouTube. My beautiful, wonderful, glorious, I love you, precious brothers and sisters. Gather around this morning, pull up a chair. I've got my coffee with cream and no sugar. Let me know, what are you going to share it with, Petey? Do that now. Do that right now. Hold on. Are you rapture ready? First things first this morning, let's go to some news. All right, let's go to some news this morning. And the plot thickens. Jeffrey Epstein had broken bones in his neck and suffered injuries commonly linked to hanging or strangulation. Autopsy reveals as billionaire's mystery associate claims the body. Jeffrey Epstein's autopsy report reveals that the pedophile had broken bones in his neck consistent with a hanging, or could it have been something else? Sources tell the Washington Post that he had a broken hyoid bone, a break seen in those who hang themselves, but more common in strangulation victims, like maybe from the Boston Strangler type error. The autopsy was completed Sunday, but the New York City's chief medical examiner listed the 66-year-old's cause of death as pending and not, I repeat, not a suicide. A source says Epstein was in great spirits before his death in jail Saturday. He met daily with lawyers at Metropolitan Correctional Center and believed his legal team would win an appeal to get him bail. Epstein told his lawyers Friday, "I'll see you Sunday," but was found dead Saturday. He was taken off suicide watch and given his own cell after allegedly telling his lawyers that his cellmate, Nicholas Tartaglione, inflicted the neck injuries on him. It was reported Epstein may have tried to take his own life in July, and Tartaglione's lawyer claimed his client tried to save him by alerting guards. I hope I pronounced that name correctly for you, but it's a mystery right now, or is it? Jeffrey Epstein had broken bones in his neck and suffered injuries commonly linked to hanging or strangulation. Let's see what else we got. Leave me comments. Let's see what else is in the news today. The drums of war in the Middle East may be beginning to sound, this on the heels of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, putting a ban on Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib from making a trip to Israel. U.S. stops Gibraltar, releasing Iranian oil tanker, and tries to seize it a month after Royal Marines boarded it and kick-started standoff in the Gulf. And this is surely going to infuriate Iran. Let's see if we can go to this story. All right, these ad pop-ups, and I find it interesting that Google and YouTube won't let me monetize because they say this is not advertiser-friendly when there's millions of ads everywhere. Oh, silence of the conservative Christian. The U.S. has blocked the release of an Iranian oil tanker today after it was impounded by Britain's Royal Marines off Gibraltar last month. The British overseas territory was expected to released the Grace 1 on Thursday, but the U.S. Department of Justice intervened in court at the last minute. As the Gulf standoff continues, security experts have speculated Gibraltar's release of the Grace 1 today would result in an exchange with the British-flagged Stena Imperial, which was seized in retaliation by the Iranians in the Gulf last month. The two shackled tankers are seen as a pawn in Iran's battle against the West, with their fate tangled in the diplomatic differences between the EU's big powers and the United States. So I find that interesting. Donald Trump says no You can't have it back. No, no, we're not going to release this tanker. So let's go here. Oil tanker. U.S. stops Gibraltar releasing Iranian oil tanker and tries to seize it. U.S. is going to seize Iran's oil tanker this time. Philadelphia police pelted with objects taunted during harrowing shootout standoff, with reports of, I guess, the gunman surrendered last night, but he had a gun on him when he did. Onlookers were seen taunting and throwing things at Philadelphia police Wednesday night amid a wild shootout and subsequent standoff that saw 6 cops wounded, and video posted online shows one woman shoving a police officer making his way to the scene. Philadelphia's KYW TV reporter Alexandra Hoff described on Twitter Wednesday night how a crowd of people boarding the blocked-off active shooter scene allegedly harassed officers. This is just unheard of, and this is what's going on with the elite far left and all of the hate and my. I mentioned this at 10, and I mentioned rather this at 10 since I was harassed during that live shot. I'll mention it here too. Hoff said on Twitter, a major moment of disappointment this evening was watching a crowd of people taunt police officers, laughing and yelling at them in the midst of a gunfire. They're putting their life on the line. Got a crazed shooter. I should add 98% of people here on scene were respectful and concerned. That moment was just such a startling thing to see in the middle of something so chaotic, she added in a separate tweet. In another video posted by Breaking 911, one woman can be seen shoving an officer from behind as he passed through the crowd. Others in the crowd yell and throw objects at police as they entered the blocked-off area amid the active standoff. And, of course, they want to take your guns. They want to confiscate your guns. This was a multi-convicted felon that had no business having a gun, but could never, doesn't matter how many background checks you have, doesn't matter how strict a gun law or background check, he could never, ever legally get a handgun. But he did, or a rifle, or a long gun, or an AR-15. But that's the problem. They want to take away the guns from the law-abiding citizens when the criminal element, they could care less about it. The background checks don't even apply to them. They get it on the dark web. They get their guns on the black market. I don't know. That's your news for right now. Leave me comments, guys. Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. My goodness. Ministry announcements heading up to Flint, Michigan with our ministry and outreach to the homeless. We need your love. We need your compassion. We need you to open up your heart to the poor, to the homeless in the inner cities of Detroit and Flint and surrounding areas. We're out there 7 days with our ministry and outreach to the homeless. All the links will be below to how you can support this ministry. Join me. We're going to be live this evening over at Pastor Dave's channel 2, Trumpet of God Ministries. So that's exciting news, and go ahead and subscribe to Pastor Dave's channel 2, Trumpet of God Ministries, for more. I love you guys, and please consider an offering to our ministry to help with this homeless crisis. All the links will be below where it says show more. Just click on that show more tab.